are now listening to the Purpose Pod, hosted by Levi Simmons. This podcast is a platform to give listeners an inside perspective on purpose, business, and life experiences. If you're interested in finding purpose or discovering paths that could lead you into your purposeful life, this is the podcast for you. Thank you for tuning in. It's time for the Purpose Pod.
This song, there we go. Y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So, all is well that is well. Hold on. Let me get out of here. Oh, I can't get out of there with this one. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, I'm sorry, guys. I've had some technical difficulties here today, as you could see. Life is just life right now. Life is just life. You gotta give it what it is, and it will be what it is, right? So let me see here. I'm trying to get my things together because it's just me today. It's just your boy Levi Simmons today. That's all it is. It's just me. It's just me. It's just your boy. It's just your boy. Got to make sure everybody's comments is good. Make sure you're commenting. If comments are good, we're good. We're good. Cool. I was on Instagram just like going crazy with, talking about going through life. And I was just so excited and thrilled about my conversation with them that I got so tied up and I forgot about my podcast. I was like, I got to go for my podcast. And I just kept going in. So, man, let me do this right here. I hope y'all are having a blessed day today because I am excited and thrilled to be my own guest on the Purpose Pod today. And today I want to talk about how to fail, right? And let me make sure that if I close this out, that it doesn't completely shut down the whole podcast, because that would be just terrible. That would be so terrible. So let's get that right. Bam. Okay. Bam. Cool. So we're straight there. Bam. So we're not going to get shut out, guys. We're not going to get shut out. So if you are new to the Purpose Pod, welcome. My name is Levi Simmons, and I am the host of the Purpose Pod. I started this podcast March 21st. It's been a couple months. It's been a couple of months and like 49 podcasts. And I don't know how I did it, but it worked, and there's been a lot that I've learned, and there's a lot that I still have to learn being a podcast host, but I'm learning a lot, and I'm doing it. I'm picking the minds of some people here and there, and then I'm taking some advice here and there. And then you just have stuff that happens. Like today, I just couldn't connect online for anything, but it's all good. It's all good in the house. So I want to talk to you guys about a few things today, but before I do that, I have a few announcements to make because we have a back to school drive. Myself and JT Speller, we're both owners of nonprofit organizations, and his is called BeBrite. Mine is called Live and Love. So if you guys are interested in supporting students back to school virtually, we're getting people to donate laptops and whiteboards or dry erase boards. So what's up, Brooke? What's up? So if you're interested in donating, please let me know. And we need some whiteboards, we need markers, we need dry erase, and we need laptops. If we can get some laptops, tablets, anything that you have would be helpful. So let's go into, I guess, the lesson. Well, one more announcement. My bad. One more announcement. I have a brunch event on August 29th. I'm talking about March 29th. August 29th, I have a brunch event, and it's called Brunch with Ties and Heels. And it's for young professionals and older professionals who are interested in growing themselves, their lives, their business, mentally, emotionally. And we're taking this approach of pivot and prepare. So if you want to pivot and prepare, let me know. I can connect you with this brunch event on the 29th. It's virtual. So bring your own brunch. Show up with your brunch, show up with your ties. And ladies, you don't have to wear heels, I guess, because we can't see your feet. But fellas, wear a tie or something like that, right? Cool. Ladies, if you want to wear a tie, you can wear a tie too. All right. So today I want to talk about how to fail. How to fail. And my first, how to fail the right way, right? How to fail the right way. Because there's a wrong way. I think there's a right way, right? How to fail the right way. So I'm just looking back on my life, and I'm looking back at my past failures, my mistakes, things that I did. And I was like, man, maybe I should have tried harder. Maybe I should have paid more attention in class, et cetera, et cetera. We have these things that we do in life, and, they are the reasons why we fail a lot of times. It could be procrastinating. It could be not being serious about your work. It could be not seeing the value in you. Whatever it is at that point in time, you have to understand that, these things could be setting you up for failure. Appreciate it, Brooke. Brooke says she loves the new setup. It's not exactly what I had originally, because I kind of rushed. It's usually y'all not supposed to see all the walls and stuff. I don't care right now. It's all good. But thank you, Brooke. I appreciate that so much. God is good. Because let me tell you something. I was worried. I was like, man, I hope the setup looks okay, because I had to get things right. And it's hard trying to prepare for stuff and get the stuff ready to run, get the setup, get my lighting, I'm doing everything. And it's like, let me get my notes right. So it's just a lot. So I appreciate that, Brooke, for telling me that you like my setup. So and that goes into like how to fail the right way. Like, this was a complete fail to me. Like, my whole setup, I was like, I'm on my phone and on my laptop, and to me this is a complete fail. But there's a right way to fail, right? Because you can't allow your errors or the mistakes or any setbacks, you can't allow those things to stop you or to hinder your performance in what you're doing, right? You don't want to be, someone who gets, like, you don't want, let me see. So imagine if, the wind was blowing, right? And, you have your focus, on the things ahead of you, and you just notice that the trees are moving. You just notice that things are happening on the side of you, right? So when you get distracted by things that are happening on the outside, just like my lighting and my setup and all that stuff, right? Like, if I was to get distracted, oh Lord, see what I'm saying? It's the devil. But it's like, we have to understand that even in our failures, there's still a way to succeed. There's still a way to manage and continue to go forward. A lot of times people are like, nah, Alan, I can't do that because I don't have anybody setting up my lights. I don't have anybody setting up my microphone. I don't have anybody doing my makeup or my hair. I don't do makeup or nothing like that. And I don't need no hair stuff. But, I wish I had Mario over here, Mr. Freshen Up himself, to give me a nice cut, but it's all good. But, so like, a lot of times we fail and we do it the wrong way. We give up, we quit. We say, oh, that wasn't for me. Or, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to finish college because I dropped out. Or, oh, maybe I'm not going to get married again. Or, oh, I'm not going to get married at all. Or, we give up on things because we don't know how to fail. And I was talking to my wife the other day about falling. Like, in the Marine Corps, we learn about falling, like bracing yourself for impact, right? When you fall, you kind of got to brace yourself, but also bring a force down to stop yourself, to break your fall, but not to, like, there's a wrong way to fall too, right? Like, if you were to fall and you were to reach out, you might break your wrist or something like that. You might mess up your whole hand. You might break a pinky or something, right? If you fall the wrong way, you might break your neck, right? And there's a wrong way to fail as well, right? But there's a right way to fall. People actually practice falling. Get this. People actually make money because they know how to fall the right way, right? like stuntmen, stunt doubles and stuff like that. Like, my guest on the 30th is an actress. I'll drop that in there. And she has a stunt double. So we ain't gonna go in there. We ain't gonna go there. So anyway, so there's a right way to fail and a wrong way to fail. So how can we get better at failing? Because we will fail a lot of times when you're an entrepreneur, if you're a creator, or you're just someone who desires to do more in life, you're going to meet failure eventually, right? Even when you first start off, things are great, things are going well, you're just having a great old time starting your business, and everybody's looking at you, everybody's listening to you, everybody's watching your moves, right? And then there's a season when, bam, where's everyone, right? There's a season where it's like, man, where's that feeling at, right? So you don't want to get caught up in the outside just because of the distractions. Whatever the distractions are, they can cause you to fail the wrong way, right? So you want to fail the right way. Prepare yourself. So a lot of times we fail because we don't plan, we don't prepare ourselves, right? So how can you plan to fail? It's almost like planning to die. It's like you have to secure yourself, right? And then it's also like car insurance and all that stuff, I guess, right? Like it's like you have to plan just in case, right? So even in your just in case failures, when you start your business, don't go in and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna start this business in 5 years, everything is gonna be great and perfect, and then next thing you know, COVID happens. Next thing you know, you're forced to pivot, right? But you weren't prepared for COVID. You weren't prepared for anything out of the blue, right? So a lot of times we have to get our minds outside of this box we call society, because society has us thinking on a pattern. Like we're pattern people. You know when to go to work, when you're getting off of work, when it's time to put gas in your car because the light goes on. There's patterns everywhere around, and we get there's symbols and signals that happen, and we're just operating off of these. So every time we see stuff popping up in our life and it looks like failure, we give up. Every time we see stuff popping off over here because someone else is getting promotion, someone else is succeeding, someone else just failed, someone else just got a raise, someone else got their house, someone else got married. Like you're looking at all of these things. It's like the wind, like I said earlier, it's like the wind moving around while you're walking on your journey. You can't get so distracted on what's going on over here, even in your own circle or your own area. Like I said, when I came on this podcast, I was like, told my wife I needed some water. I had to get stuff right. I don't have a fresh cut. My camera was acting up. I'm using my phone 1 minute. My boom is acting up. Like things are happening, right? And it could be failure. It could be the wrong kind of failure, right? But I can also use this and use it for my advantage, right? Because I'm also using this in a lesson with you guys, and I have to be transparent with you with my podcast so that you guys can see that I'm just a regular guy talking to you. So if you are discouraged and you feel like you can't run your race or you can't obtain the goals that you have out there, the things that you desire to get, like if you feel like that's not for you because you are seeing yourself fail over and over and over and over and over again, I'm here to tell you that it is for you. Whatever that it is that you desire, but you keep on failing at it, it's for you. Maybe you need a plan. Maybe you need to prepare yourself. Maybe you need to look at your past mistakes and failures and see where you can benefit from those things as well. Just don't throw out the garbage. Make sure you're not throwing stuff that's recyclable. Ooh, that you can bring back into your life. Come on, somebody give me some snaps. You don't want to throw things out of your life that's recyclable, right? That you could just bring back in. Maybe God got to transform that thing for you. Whatever it is, maybe you have to like leave it outside. Whatever it is, maybe you need to stay away from it for a little while. Whatever it is, just the transformation. Inside of transformation, there's always this force and this feeling of failure, because when we're transforming, right, we're changing, we're becoming, we're evolving. Like all of these things sound like growth, but we fail to understand that even as adults, then when we were children, it hurt to grow up, right? It wasn't not just like your bones. I'm not talking about your bones. I'm saying like you had to go through a lot of stuff as a kid. Like, no, you can't get on these swings type of person, right? Like, no, you can't play with my yo-yo kind of person, right? Like, come on, man. I'm saying like when you're a kid, your parents might yell at you. You might get hurt by your parents. You might feel a certain way because your parent did this or that. Your sibling says something to you. Your aunt says something to you. Your uncle says something to you. Your mom did this. Your dad did that, right? We get hurt and damaged, and we go through this process called life, and then we think these things make us failures, but it doesn't make us failures. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't make me a failure, right? So there's a right way to fail and there's a wrong way to fail, right? So how can you plan to fail? Plan the right way, right? You want to plan and be like, all right, so I'm going to start this podcast. You know, I may have one listener today. I may have another listener tomorrow. I may have another one this way. But the way I did it was, I'll let you guys in on my secret. The way I did it was I did one interview every day except for Saturdays. Oh yeah, except for Saturdays. I did one interview every day, and I probably did a Saturday in between all of those, but I did it from the 21st of March, you know what I mean? And I just kept going, and I'm here at episode 49. You know, so like, don't think that you can't do it. You can. And the moment that you decide to do it, even if you fail, even if you slip, even if you don't get the support, even if you don't see people rocking your stuff, whatever it is that you are doing, don't get distracted because of what's happening on the side, because these things are temporary. It's like the wind. When the wind is moving, it's always present, but sometimes the wind movement is temporary, right? So don't get distracted because of the movement happening around you. You thinking that these things are signs because, you know, you're failing. No, you just got to get back up again. You just got to get back in the race. You might have to register again. You might have to, you know, sign up for those classes again. You might have to take one class this time instead of 5 classes. Maybe you're not a failure. Maybe you just took on too much. Maybe you just weren't able to handle that. Maybe your capacity wasn't large enough for what you were intaking, right? So don't look at yourself like, oh, I'm a failure because I didn't finish college. I didn't do this. I'm back in college. I'm graduating, right? I dropped out in like 2013, right? Probably before that. I was in, out, right? I probably got like 50 degrees somewhere, but I had a whole lot of credits coming into UNC Charlotte, right? The University of North Carolina at Charlotte. I had a whole lot of credits, and I felt some type of way about that. And I felt like I was a failure because I'm starting this degree with 4 more years. I did this in 2013, 11, 12, 13, right? I went through college, and then I came here in Charlotte and I started electrical engineering technology, right? And meanwhile, I ran from this major because I failed my classes. I'm talking about, if you look at my transcript, you will see a D and an F from Old Dominion University because I stopped going to my classes. I dropped out. I thought I was stupid. I thought I couldn't handle the education. So I thought I couldn't handle calculus and physics. I thought I couldn't handle differential equations and stuff like that, right? So here I am in 2013 dropping out of college because I thought I was a failure because I kept failing tests, right? But the whole time I didn't know. Maybe I needed to take 2 classes. Maybe I only needed physics and calculus at the same time, right? Instead of taking 3 other classes along with that, like computer programming, like C language, you know? So I look back now and I realize I'm not a failure. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't a failure. I wasn't prepared, right? So you got to understand who you are and don't label yourself stuff because society has created a name called failure. Like, and you feel like, oh, well, my life matches up to this. So I'm going to title myself a failure. I'm going to title everything I've done a failure. I'm telling you this because I'm acknowledging this for myself, right? As someone who is creating things, I got the Purpose Pod. I got Never Stop, Never Quit, Repeat. I got, Can I Speak book. I got my book, right? I got Brunch and Ties with Heels. I got Live and Love. I got I got all that other stuff, right? I got everything I got, right? And all I'm saying is none of that has made me me. I've always been me. None of these are results of me being me. These are the fruit from my life, my identity. When you start knowing who you are, you start producing things because God is a creator, right? And I'm not going off script. I'm still on script. How to fail the right way. This is how to fail the right way, because you have to believe in yourself. And I have to tell this to myself as well, because I'm telling you guys, I look at everything that I have, and I had to realize that these things don't make me. These things say, I literally go by Levi Simmons, right? And my whole life, I've just been Alan. Oh, that's Alan, Steve. If you haven't seen that commercial, you need to go watch it. Anyways, so I've been Alan my whole life, but I had to take on my name, Alan Levi Simmons. And I was like, you know what? This is who I am. This is who I am. I want people to know who I am. When I leave this world, people are going to know who I am. I'm not just going to disappear. I didn't come in this world just to disappear and vanish and not leave an imprint on this world, and there's power in creating. You know, when you're creating, you're allowing yourself to be the ultimate you. The ultimate you is when you start creating those things that you've been dreaming about, those things that your desires are. You got to start bringing those things into life, into the physical realm. Don't just leave it there in your mind. Like when God did his work on this earth, he thought and he created. He did, right? So we're made in the image and likeness of God. I'm not trying to take this out of context or anything, but we're made in the image and likeness of God, right? And if you don't know, we are, okay? So we're made in the image and likeness of God. And pause. I think we're made in the image and likeness of God because of Jesus. The only way we look like God is because of Christ, because anyway, I'm not going to preach a sermon today. I'll just play. But anyway, so we're made in the image and likeness of God, and God has this favor for our lives. And yes, people go through a lot of stuff. People go through stuff. People fail. We fail. I literally had a gun in my mouth, right? I had a gun in my mouth in like 2013, 14, one of those years, 2013, I think, 2012, 13, 12. I don't know. One of those years. I can't remember. But I had a gun in my mouth. And, like, I'll share this with you guys. So I was talking about this earlier on another podcast. But, when I got back from Afghanistan, there was no like filter for people like me, like people who weren't like always combative, overseas. Like I was an electrician, right? And there are people who go through worse things than me, or maybe that's the other problem right there. You say, oh, there's people that go through worse things than me. No, you've been through hell. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, sister. You've been through hell. Call it what it is. You've been through it. It doesn't matter what other people been through. I had to tell myself that. Like, because I find myself like, oh, I didn't lose this, I didn't do that, but dude, you stood next to an IED, you were in an RPG explosion. Like, dude, come on, brother. Like, give yourself some credit, right? I have to tell myself that, because I've been talking to my wife lately, and it's just like, yo, I don't see who I am, and when you don't know who you are, you're planning to fail as well. And that's just another thing on itself. So even when I realize that there are people out here who look like they know who they are. And I'm not talking about nobody, because I'm talking about me, right? Because even throughout the last few months, I've been finding out who I am. And I've never been the guy that's like, yo, follow me, I know everything. I'm just like, yo, if y'all want to ride and have a good time and like try to be yourself and try to be great, like, follow me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like, hey, follow me, I know the plans, I know the steps, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. No, that's not me, that's God. I just know that there's a map, and like, I want to get down this road the best way possible without dying before my time. and God has shown me that, when there's a purpose, which there's a purpose for everybody's life, but when there's a purpose, I don't know what kind of purpose this purpose is, but those people that God called, right? Because certain people, let me tell y'all something. Certain people are called, right? They're called, and these people that are called, a lot of people are not looked at as if they're called because they don't look like they're called, if that makes sense at all. I'm gonna just say this: if you're an alcoholic, you're called, don't think you're a failure because you're an alcoholic. You're called. Answer the call on your life. God will transform your life. God will direct your path. God will order your steps, right? Don't let people tell you that just because you're going through something that you're not called, just because you're gay, you're homosexual, you're bisexual, you're lesbian, you're this, you're that, you used to be this, you're a this and that, your mama was this and your daddy was that. I mean, I'm sorry, but God has the ultimate say so on people's lives. And we got to understand that these are lives, not just spiritual beings. These are lives, right? So when people fail, you can't push them down. You can't reject them. You have to lift them up. You have to bring them up. You have to be Christ-like, right? I'm not going to preach a sermon, but anyway, so I'm saying, like, so people who are failing out here, you're not a failure. You're not a mistake. You're not an error. You're not a speed bump. You're not a castaway. You have a purpose. So don't ever think that your life isn't with purpose, isn't for purpose. And you don't have to do what I do. Like, don't ever think that, oh, I need to start a podcast to be like Alan, or, oh, I need to get my never stop, never quit type of gear, or I need to do my own book, or whatever it is. Do what God has called you to do. If it looks like what I'm doing, do it, but do what God has called you to do. So when you fail, there's grace, there's mercy, there's a covering, there's protection, there's some snacks. God will give you some snacks because he provides during your journey. I said I wasn't trying to preach nothing, but God be trying to mess with me. This is the Purpose Pod, and it's just me, so I guess I can do what I want. How to fail the right way. Alan, how do I fail the right way? How can I incorporate God in my life to walk in my purpose, to move in my purpose? Alan, I don't even believe in God. How can I walk in my purpose with God if I don't believe in God? Great question. Just let him in. Right? If you don't know God, just be like, God, yo, I've been hearing about you, but I don't trust you. So, I mean, if you real, show me. If you real, prove it to me, right? If you real, do something. Please help me. Because I need, like, there's some people who honestly just need to see something. And I'm not going to tell them that they're mean and that they're blah, 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 blah. Because God has shown me stuff in the midst of my sin, in the midst of me losing in my mind with the gun in my mouth. So I know that no one is unreachable and everyone is reachable when it comes to God. So I don't give up on nobody bad boy out here. I don't give up on nobody out here, so I believe that we all are here with a purpose. We are all here and designed to execute a purpose. So don't let no one, and I got to keep saying this because I feel like there's some people out there who are letting people stop them from walking in their purpose, from walking in their God-given purpose. Like there's a lot of roads in the United States of America that have not been traveled down. Right? It's true, right? There's a lot of places, like you ever been back in your hometown or in another place that you've been before, but you like, nah, I ain't never been on this street. I ain't even know the street was over here, right? But that's how life is. There's a lot of roads that some people have not walked down, right? Because your road is specific for your life. Like Paul was the only one who had his road to Damascus moment. I don't know anybody else who had a road to Damascus moment and that's when Jesus spoke to Saul at the time when he was riding his horse on the way to kill some Christians, right? Saul, this is back in the Bible days. This is still in the Bible days. Saul was riding his horse and he was out to go kill some Christians, and Jesus encountered him while he was on his horse, and pretty much he was blind at that point in time. He blinded him. His light was so brilliant and excellent and awesome. It didn't kill It didn't kill Saul. It just blinded Saul. Oh, come on, bring the word, Jesus. A lot of times when we encounter God on the road to our Damascus, on the road to destruction, God will encounter us. He will not harm us. He might just blind us, right? He might just blind us, but get this, you have to be willing to go through your process. If Paul would have left He didn't listen to the voice of Jesus. I don't want to preach the whole thing, but like overall, like there's a purpose for your life, man. And it may look like you're blinded right now. And it may look like the doors are closed. It may look like everybody else is celebrating life and you're struggling still. It may look like, man, my lights are about to be cut off, or man, it may look like I don't have a home anymore. It may look like your car got repossessed. It may look like you got your house on foreclosure. It may look like you don't have any money in your bank account. Whatever your failure looks like that diploma don't say your name. It say your cousin name or your sister name. And everybody keep talking about that diploma on the wall, but you don't have yours, right? You don't want to accept that and make that your failure. Don't let people attach failure to your name anymore. And don't you do it either. Don't attach failure to your name. I'm telling myself that. We're here having a moment in the spirit of God. And I just want to tell you, I'm able to do this without a guest, right? I can do what I want. So, but I'm just telling you guys, like, God has a plan for our life. And there's a purpose for every life under the sun. There's a purpose for every life under the sun. The orphans have a purpose. Those who grew up with both parents have a purpose. Those who grew up without a mother or a father has a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. Even if you were born out of wedlock, you have a purpose. Even if you don't know who your parents are, you have a purpose. Like, don't attach failure to your purpose or your life or your name. Don't attach failure to anything that you possess. And what you possess is you, right? You possess your mind. You possess your creativity, right? You possess your drive. You possess your energy, right? So don't let failure possess those things. Those things belong to positive things, right? And you never put a dead battery in a remote control, right? You never put a dead battery in a remote control. That's complete failure. You're super planning to fail automatically if you're putting a dead battery in a remote control. You want to put a living battery in that remote control. And that's what happens when you invite Jesus Christ into your life. You invite the living battery, the Holy Spirit, into your life. But I'm not going to preach to you guys because I know a lot of y'all aren't Christians and stuff like that. So it's no harm, no foul. I love y'all. You know what I mean? I just want you to know what it is, man. I'm telling you, I just want you to know what it is, because we can be blinded, and we as in Christians, everybody, we all can be blinded at times, and we have to allow God to reveal things to us. We have to allow God to speak to us, because God speaks. God speaks, right? And I got testimonies for days. If y'all want to ever ask me about God speaking, ask me. I'll tell you about a bomb that God spoke to me about. I'll tell you about God speaking to me before I committed suicide. You know, I'll tell you about God speaking to me about racism in America. Like, I'll tell you about God speaking to me in my dreams. Like, I'm telling you, it's so crazy. I just know God is real. So that's why when I'm out here as an entrepreneur, I got to push my Lord. I got to push my Savior, because there's a lot of people out here struggling, and a lot of people don't realize it. So they're in denial. They're struggling, you know, and they don't think that they deserve a chance with God. They don't think that they deserve a chance with righteousness, because they can't get it right. They can't do things right. They can't order their steps right. But that's not your job, man or sis. That's not your job. You have to allow God to order your steps. That's when the prayer comes in. That's when the talking to God comes in. That's when the believing comes in. You have to allow God to walk with you through your transformation as you transition, right? So I just really think that we all need to take a moment of silence and let failure be silenced. Let all the negative thoughts be silent. Let all the negative energy be silent. The anger, the rage, the bitterness, everything that is holding us back, we have to let it be silent. Like, literally, you have to cut it off, because these things are holding us back. These things are keeping us from walking in our purpose, right? So just think about that. Think about that, So think about that. We are walking on a journey that, is long. It's a marathon. Don't quit now. Let me see. I'm looking in the comments. Said, what up, Sted, man? What up, my guy? Still learning who I am. Facts, bro. Hey, look, man. That's hey, Sted, hey, bro. You still got your lounge, man. I gotta interview you. I gotta get you on here, bro. But we are still learning who we are. We know we're learning everything about us, and a lot of times I would always want to learn about me actually until I die. Probably it gets boring if there's no more learning, if there's no more figuring things out, if there's no more like peeling back new layers of yourself. Like, come on, how exciting is this journey? This journey is worth living. We go through hell a lot of times, but the journey is worth living. I'm telling you, I am so glad I did not pull that trigger. I am so glad. I'm gonna take a drink on that, drink of water, because we got to drink some water out here. Man, water is good too. You just gotta, man, I can't wait for the 30th. We're gonna talk about living a life of gratitude, practicing gratitude, right? But that's another day, another time. We're talking about failing the right way. So as we've been talking, I haven't really given y'all steps. I've just been kind of talking to y'all, preaching to y'all. I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but it's okay. You won't get this anywhere else. I think I'm just allowing the spirit to move wherever God leads me. I'm just going. That's what I do. So that's how it be with your boy, Alan Levi Simmons. So anyway, like when you keep yourself in a box and you don't allow God to expand your territory, then you're planning to fail as well. Hey, I appreciate it, Brooke. Thank you so much. Hey, look, she said she's so glad I didn't either, right? I didn't commit suicide, right? Because if I would have, I would have missed a lot of lives. I think, man, you don't know who you encounter, right? You don't know who you impact on your journey. You don't ever take your life for granted. Don't ever take your life for granted. I'm telling you that because I mean, look, man, it's real. It's real. It's very real. I'll tell you this, the scariest thing is looking in the mirror with the rope around your neck, with tears coming down your eyes, with pain pouring from your heart. Looking in your own eyes while you're committing suicide. It's so, like, it just rips, a person apart. And I feel like that's why a lot of people don't look in the mirror when they commit suicide. They go out in a place because they can't, like, if you look at yourself, you have to see something there. You have to feel sorry for that person you're looking at. You have to want that person to live. You have to want that person to see another day because you know that person has worked their butts off to be there. And that's you. I'm talking about you. You can't kill yourself. You can't give up. You can't go in at 90%. I'm telling you, bro, like I'm really about to try to be on 100 in my life. And it's not about a hashtag. It's not about looking good. It's not about sounding good or having a trend, but I want to know what my life is like at 100%. When I'm living at 100%, I'm not giving it 80, 70, 60, 50. It's a process. That's my goal. That's my goal. It's a work in progress, people. 100%. It's your goal, but it's a work in progress. Appreciate that, Asia. Asia said, nice banner. It's gonna get better, y'all. I'm gonna have a whole setup sometime. But look, plan to fail the right way if you fail. Plan to fail the right way if you fail. Don't give up on yourself. Don't think that this isn't for you. This is for you. Whatever this is, it's for you. If it's a book, write your book. That's for you. I don't care if 800 people have a book written. You don't have a book written, so write your book. I'm not going to say that again. Write your book. I said it again. There we go. If 800 people have shirts, and you have a desire to create shirts, start your shirts. If you have a desire to create a podcast, start your podcast. Like I'm just gonna like Nina, my sis Nina said, baby steps. That's right, Nina, baby steps. Like you just gotta do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Man, if I could get to 100%, Brooke, tell me about it. Brooke said, man, if I could get to 100%. And Nina said, baby steps. Like, think about it, y'all. It is possible if we think about those small steps, those baby steps that Nina is talking about, and living at 100%, like Brooke is talking about, like it's possible because we can live at 50%. Right? Think about it. We live at 50% and we do it on purpose. A lot of times we're like, nah, I'm gonna just do that later. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that right now. Oh, I'm talking about me. I'm sorry. I'm talking about me. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm gonna do that later. Like we have to let ourselves grow. That's what it's about. Don't tag yourself as a failure. I'm talking to myself. Don't tag yourself as a failure because you fail. Don't do that. You know, when you get it, man, I started learning. Let me tell y'all something. And I'm sorry, I'm hopping around here and there like a bunny rabbit. But let me tell you, like a motivational bunny rabbit. Anyway, so that was so stupid. Anyway, so I'm over here writing down motivational bunny rabbit. All right, that's it. That's stupid. That's stupid. All right, I'm gonna write it down anyways because I don't know. Maybe it'll be something one day. But man, the baby steps is it. Nina said, "You preaching? You stepping on all my toes? Come on." Hey, look, you gotta get the toes stepped on, sis, and then you gotta just get the toes start dancing so they start moving, and then you get up and you start doing something about it. But I love that, Nina, because it's all about getting your toes stepped on. You know, you gotta learn something. If your toes ain't getting stepped on, you ain't learning nothing. You know, I ain't going. My cousin, her birthday today, and I know I was about to go into something, but my cousin, her birthday today, Octavia Cords, my lovely cousin. I'm going to share this. Octavia, you probably don't even watch my podcast, so Octavia. I just said her whole name, but Octavia, when we were little, my cousin Octavia was walking past my granddaddy, right? Granddaddy John, right? My granddaddy, right? So he was a laid back guy, worked with his hands, right? Big, strong brick hands, right? So Octavia's walking past my grandfather, and she accidentally steps on his toe. Now, the brother had bunions, right? I'm not talking about Paul. I'm talking about some bunions, right? So when she stepped on his bunions, his right bunion, she looked at him, and I looked at her, and he looked at her, and everybody looked at everybody, and he got up real quick. Bam! My granddaddy was probably like in his 70s at that time, and my cousin ran, and you know, I mean, she was probably like 5'6", you know, 7. Y'all probably like, this is terrible, but my granddaddy got to her, and he's about to whoop her little butt. But my grandmama was like, daddy, no. But stepping on toes is what I'm talking about. Sometimes you got to get your toes stepped on. My granddaddy needed his toes stepped on so that he can understand that he needs to be patient and kind with his grandchildren. Rest in peace, grandfather. But but anyway, you got to understand that it takes time to be successful. And I'm not talking about big money successful or everybody know your name successful. I'm talking about where you know who you are successful. That's when you're successful. And I really feel like a butterfly. Like I'm coming out of my cocoon, right? I'm like a butterfly coming out like with my beautiful wings and everything, because I'm starting to see the whole process of my evolution until I die, till the day I want that to be the grandest day of my life because I've lived at 100%. You know, we have to think like that at all times. We don't want to be caught off guard with life. We want to bring it to life, right? And man, I'm just saying, like, there's a right way to fail. There's a right way to fail. You got to bring it to life a lot of times, because you will get knocked down and you will feel like, man, I messed up. I can't make it because everybody saw I started my business and I failed. Like, what if I started my podcast and I didn't get people to come on my podcast every day like I planned? I would have been like, oh man, no, I failed. No, you know what I did? I hit up like 60, 70, 80, 100 something people. I don't know how I did it. I really don't know how I did it, y'all. And I keep showing y'all my calendar, but it's real out here. You know, I'm gonna show y'all this again, my calendar. And for the people who are listening, you can't see it, but that's my calendar, right? And literally I was like, I'm about to fill this calendar up. And I never use this calendar. And I was like, I'm gonna fill this up. And I promise you, I just filled up every day with a person. And I interviewed them for 1 hour. Never had a podcast, never interviewed somebody like that. And I interviewed from NFL players to teachers, professors, to doctors, to authors, to poets, to mompreneurs, to kidpreneurs. I've interviewed so many people. And it's just been an amazing experience, but I've also failed along the way. But you guys didn't see that, because today I was about to be like, I ain't even gonna do my podcast. I actually had somebody that I was gonna bring. Like I told you, I gotta keep it real with y'all so y'all know what it is. Like I had somebody on my pod. I had somebody set for today, right? And my goal was not to be on here by myself, but I'm glad I was able to be on here by myself. But this person was supposed to be on here today, and I was kind of upset. I felt some type of way about it, right? But I still did not allow that to become my failure. You can't, even if like, oh, this is so good. Like when you're running a race, and it's almost like Cool Running, right? If you ever seen this movie Cool Running back in the day, some people said, they can't believe Jamaica, we got a bobsled team, we got the Wanderers and one not. All right, but if you've never seen Cool Running, then I'm sorry, but yeah. So in Cool Running, there was this part where the dude, he was running, right? He was running his race, and they were. It was like the Olympic trials, right? They were trying out for the Olympics, right? And this was the biggest race in St. Cop and Junior. They all trained so hard, but this last part, the guy tripped. He fell. He stumbled, he tripped. The other guy that was in the race, right? The younger guy, he tripped, he fell, he stumbled, and he ended up knocking down 3 other dudes. I think it was 3 or 2, 3. Yeah, 3. So he ended up knocking over 3 guys that was at the front. They were all at the front. Olympic trials, right? And Nina said, favorite movie. Yeah, definitely. All-time movie, lifetime movie. But he fell, right? So this one person's mistake became other people's failures, quote unquote. For the people that are listening to the audio, I just did a quote unquote. So his fail became everybody else's failure, right? So what did they do? They had to switch, sports. They went to bobsledding in Jamaica, right? Bobsledding in Jamaica, right? And a lot of times, and I love, let's go to Cool Running real quick while we're talking about planning to fail the right way. So like these guys did not prepare. They did not expect that they were going to be bobsledders after running as sprinters, Jamaican sprinters, right? They did not know that they were going to be Jamaican bobsledders, right? But it happened because someone tripped, and that trip became their fail. But they did not make that fail their failure. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't, just because you fail doesn't make you a failure. You got to make sure the labels are correct on your name. Make sure that it says Alan Levi Simmons and not failure when you look at yourself. And I'm talking to myself once again. Make sure that you see who you are. You're not a failure, just because you failed, right? Just because you failed, it doesn't mean that you can't get back in again. It doesn't mean that you died. You failed. You didn't die, right? So you got to live, be alive, be yourself, be inspired, right? Like JT Speller says, be bright, right? Be bright, be you, be who God has called you to be, right? Don't wait for no one to tell you when to be you. Don't even wait for me. Like, you should be ready right now to be who God has called you to be. Like, you don't need me to tell you anything. You don't need no one but God to lead you on this journey called life. And I'm here for your support. I'm here to give you inspiration and to inspire you to go live out your purpose. That's what the Purpose Pod is all about, right? That's why if you're Hindu, Buddhist, if you're Muslim, if you're whatever you are, Christian, used to be a Christian, whatever you are, right? Whoever you are, this podcast is for you guys. Even if I say like, Christ, I just share my testimony because that's just what I've been through. I literally heard God speak to me when I had a gun in my mouth. I literally heard God speak to me in Afghanistan when I was standing next to an IED. Right. So like, I know I've been through hell on earth. I've been through it. I wanted to kill myself. It didn't look like I had the favor of anything but failure on my life. The favor of failure was on my life. That's what it looked like. But I didn't know that I just failed for a moment. It was temporary. Those are temporary failures. Don't put a capital F on your lowercase f. Don't make that who you are. Don't label yourself as a failure. I got to keep telling y'all that, because this is what I have to tell myself. The guy who, yes, like I said, the guy who wrote a book, the guy who has Never Stop, Never Quit, Repeat, the guy who has the Purpose Pod, the guy who has all this other stuff, right? I have to continuously tell myself, like, you are not a failure. Yeah, just because you're not making $1 million right now, Alan, you're not a failure, right? Just because you're 31 graduating college, Alan, you're not a failure, Alan. Like, I look at, like, I always do, like, I'm 31, I'm graduating college. My wife be like, but you're doing electrical engineering. Like, I'm like, yeah, but I'm still 31 and I'm graduating college. And I'm not looking at like, yo, I just bounced back. Bro, I'm about to get out my chair because I'm sorry, y'all. I was on academic probation at UNC Charlotte. Don't get me all emotional. Let me drink some water real quick. God is good. I don't want to be all emotional today. Oh, Nina said Ryan's favorite movie. But I was on academic probation at UNC Charlotte, and I was about to be put out of school. I was failing. I failed calculus and I failed physics, like same semester. It took me down to a 2.0, right? My GPA is at like a 3 point something right now, or something like 2, close to a 3, something like that. But I was at a 2.0, right? And I didn't know that I wasn't dumb or stupid or a failure. I was just like, oh, here it goes again. I'm about to drop out of school. That's what I thought in 2016 when I just got married. I'm like, about to be in school for the next 4 years. The whole 4 years of my marriage, I've been in school. And like, I have always looked at myself as a failure, even though I've been doing so much, because I did not see who I am, not who I was, but who I am is always a constant thing. Who you are is always a present thing. Like, it's not a past thing or a future thing. It's who are you? Like, when I think God says I am, and I am is so present. It's not like I was, I will be. When I grow up, I want to be. When I was this, I used to do this. No, I am. And that's something that I'm going to start practicing. Just even as I'm taking on my whole name, Alan Levi Simmons, it's more about I am. I am standing here as me. I am standing here with all of my scars, with all of my bruises and brokenness, with all of my issues, with all of my accomplishments. I'm standing here, and I am Alan Levi Simmons. So when you approach your dreams and you approach your purpose, when you approach your journey, don't back down because you don't think you deserve it. Don't back down because who you used to be is someone that was self-destructive or whatever it is, right? Don't back down from this challenge that life is giving you. You have to take it to life, and you need people on your side. You need somebody. You might need a friend. You might need to hit people up and say, hey, I'm broken. You might need somebody to cry with or to cry to, so I cry. My wife could tell you, I'll be crying. I'll be like, I'm very emotional. I'm like, I've carried a lot. I've carried a lot of weight in my life. And I think I deserve to cry whenever I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not holding my tears in for nobody. I don't care where I'm at. I'm about to be like, I'm going to cry, because we have to go through our emotions. We have to go through our experiences, and we have to, I guess, we have to grow in the midst of our pain. We have to grow in the midst of our misery and in the midst of our sorrow. There's all this growing that's happening, but we can't see it because everything is moving around us. Everything is shaking. Like, we had an earthquake here in North Carolina, in Charlotte, right? And it was in the morning. Me and my wife was talking. It was like, things was moving, right? But we just gotta, things happen and you can't control it. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, don't be distracted because things are happening in your life. Sephora was like, dang right. But yeah, like, I just really don't want, I don't want people to give up, man. I really don't want people to kill themselves. I don't want people to commit suicide. I don't want people to feel like they're not worth it. I don't want people to think that they're worthless because they don't have money, or that they don't have an education, or they don't have a high school diploma, or whatever it is, and you are worth it. It doesn't matter what you have. I don't care how many books I write. I don't care how many shirts I put out. I don't care how many episodes I come out with. It's great. And it's a celebration because I'm creating something in my identity, but it is not who I am. You would never, 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 never attach yourself to your things, right? Because this, like, think about it. I came out with this book. I was so excited. And then I sold what I needed to sell. And I'm like, look, I show y'all, if y'all buy, y'all buy. If y'all don't, y'all don't. I never want to push this book in nobody's face, because this is just something that I am so happy that I did. Someone who sucks at reading and is getting better. I forgot to wear my glasses. Oh, here they go. But someone who sucks at reading, someone who I didn't know that my reading was half bad because I needed glasses. Ooh, a whole new world. All right, but anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to act a fool a little bit. But yeah, man, if y'all got any questions, comments, or anything, please drop them right now. I've been yapping for a long time. I just hope that blessed y'all, man. Like, I just really wanted to pour out to you guys and gals today. But yeah, if you have any questions, please post them. If I can't see your questions, that's because you didn't give permission. But I see a lot of people commenting on YouTube. Nina's on YouTube. Sephra's on Facebook, right? Asia's on Facebook. Sephra's on Facebook. So if y'all have any questions, comments, y'all want to say anything, please drop a comment below right now. I'll keep talking, but please go ahead and post something, a question. If you need some encouragement, if you need a word, let me know. Just drop something and I will respond to you. But yeah, man, so like, just stay focused on your journey, and don't second guess yourself. When God gives you a dream, when God gives you a goal, when God gives you a desire. Oh my God, that just touched my soul just now. But he says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all its righteousness, and I will give you the desires of your heart. Pretty much something like that, right? But I just thought about it. My desires have come into fruition because I sought God. Even when you fail and you stumble, and maybe you don't call God every day. Maybe you don't pray every day. Maybe you don't read your Bible every day. Maybe you don't even go to church. Maybe you don't even believe in God, but somehow, some way, God has provision for your life. God has purpose for your life. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. Like I said, Saul was on his road to Damascus when he encountered Jesus. So I'm not judging you where you are, and I'm not forcing my faith on you. I'm just telling you what has kept me alive, and that is my truth. And a lot of people have their truth, though. I can't even knock it. A lot of people have encounters and experiences in their own walks of life, and I don't even know how to explain that stuff, and I just, like, I don't know how to explain my own encounters, but I do know that we all have a purpose. At the end of the day, we all have a purpose. Ryan Farmer, you better bet the Lord. I think you meant you better I appreciate you, Ryan. Appreciate you. Let the Lord use you. I'm on YouTube, IG now too. Encouragement from anxiety. It's a constant struggle. So Sephra, like, me and Sephra, we were in Iraq together, Baghdad, Iraq. We were in Iraq together, sister soldier here. But she's saying, encouragement from anxiety, and she says it's a constant struggle. Sephra, like, what I've learned, and I'm still learning about anxiety, because last night I was having an anxiety attack. Like, I literally couldn't stop thinking about, like, what if somebody broke in my house? Like, I told my wife, I was like, man, my heart's racing. Like, I just can't, like, it's for some reason, like, it just kept intensifying. And like, for some reason I was so anxious. Like, I just felt like very nervous. I'm like, what if somebody breaks in my house? What if somebody breaks in my house? And I keep thinking about that. So I'm just saying, like, with your anxiety, you can't, you have to work with it. Anxiety is something you can't just like, and it's gone. You could pray it away, but you're going to still have to go through that process. I don't care what nobody say. You could pray all day long and you could have anxiety, and that just might be something that you have to process through, until you get through that. But a lot of people wrestle with anxiety and they kill themselves. So I pray that you have the strength to get through your anxiety, like I'm trying to get through my anxiety, and you save your story for someone who is not as strong as you are, because you are strong and you are able to get through this, Sephra. Okay. Your creativity is your purpose. 100% facts. Your creativity is your purpose. Everything that you do is with it. Let it be with a purpose, yo. Like create your purpose, create the life that you desire. Like, don't think that you don't deserve it, man. Like, just please don't give up on yourself. Stay focused, stay dedicated to your game, to your calling, to your path, and help people along the way. Don't turn your shoulder on anybody. Help people along the way. It will look different at different times because you will have to use your story, your journey, to help them get through it. And make sure that when you're helping people get through it, you don't tell them like what to do, but you tell them like what you do to get through what you go through, right? Because when you tell people what to do, you kind of like take away the empathy, instead of like thinking like, hey, you know what? Let me tell them what I do to overcome. If you're not, let's say you're not struggling with porn, right? But let's say you're struggling with eating. You have an eating thing disorder. And so you tell that person, well, the way I got over like eating all the time was I just went and I worked out every time I felt like eating. That's good advice, and that could be something that they could hold on to, instead of you saying, well, you should, consider doing this. You should do this. You should do that. No. Well, when I was in a similar situation, actually, I learned this, in at ODU, I mean, at UNC Charlotte, when we're talking about suicide prevention and stuff, like you want to make sure, I think it was suicide prevention or inclusion or something. I don't know, but we're talking about something. But it was mainly like, you want to make sure that when you're walking with people, you're not saying, hey, you need to make sure you go left, right, left. You say, hey, when I went down that road, I took a left, and I ran into some trouble there, but it was worth it. It was worth it in the end. So make sure you do that to people. Make sure you give them your heart, you give them your mind, you give them your energy, you give them your spirit, and let the Lord use you. I'm going to close out in prayer, because this has been a very powerful day. And I know that the enemy, if you don't believe in the enemy, I believe that something, the energy, the forces, whatever you believe in that is negative, doesn't want you to have what God has for you. So I'm going to say a prayer on the Purpose Pod for the people out here in the world who are struggling, who are hurting, fighting anxiety. And then we're going to be done with this podcast episode. Cool. So God, I just thank you for this awesome time on the Purpose Pod. I rarely get to spend time on the Purpose Pod alone talking to the Purpose Podders, but today was a special day, God. And out of my fail, I was able to succeed instead of accepted the failure, instead of accepted the defeat that my podcast would not happen. I was able to succeed and make it happen. So God, I just thank you for each person that is under the sound of my voice. I thank you for each listener that came and tuned in today. God, I pray, Lord, that no weapon formed against them will prosper, God. And I pray, Lord, that you will continue to lift them up in their situations, God. Give them revelations and inspiration, God, in the midst of their valley of the shadow of death, in the midst of the evil, in the midst of the darkness, in the midst of suicidal thoughts, in the midst of depression, God. Give them light and hope and inspiration, God. Let them be inspired, God, so that they can go out and do great things in this world. For people are hurting. So God, I pray, Lord, where there are people that are hurting, let there be life and life more abundantly. In Jesus' name, amen. So I love you guys. I hope you have a blessed one. This has been another episode of the Purpose Pod. Peace.